So, this one won out by a landslide. Isiah knew he wasn't going to get any help, so he just got ready. Yeah, I don't plan on dying today. Want a piece of this, you ugly sons of... Whoa! He just barely dodged a big punch thrown by Juggernaut. Well, that would have hurt. Isiah knew he had one thing the bigger guys didn't have: speed. And he'd use this to his advantage. Leroy! Yeah, I know the meme is old, but give me this, please. It's totally something that this Izuku would do, since he's, well, has his awesome biker moments, but he's still a dork, so I think he'd do it. This is where the goo ability comes in handy. Whenever a hunter or brawler got close to him, he'd smack it with a tendril and attach a small blob and let it either go boom or grab another target and add another blob to the mix. Once again, I live with my family. I apologize. I can't do anything about that. When Isiah was sure he had maximum destructive force, he let it go boom. It was big enough that the Poseidon and Hellhound could feel it. We gotta help him, Daddy. There ain't no way we're gonna make it in time. Even with our speed, he's on his own for this. Isiah wasn't paying attention to the chat, and at the moment, he was trying to not get pulverized. I'm gonna say he's not gonna get another blast of that proportion. That halved the amount of enemies he had to juggle. However, every heavy remained unfazed. Ah, crap. He says in English. The hunters and brawlers weren't that big of a problem. Short of their numbers, that is. That's about when something went flying and our boy assumed he was good when he dodged. A stalactite came crashing down and struck his head. Hunters, brawlers, and even juggernauts were mauling the boy. If this kept up, he was done for. For those of you wondering about his absorption of the sludge villain, he's about to utilize that right now, don't worry. Hades managed to slip out of the dog pile that was tearing him apart. He's running low on biomass, however, and the damn things know it. Hades was forced to limit himself to his less flashy abilities. He'd have to stick to the basics here, or at least until he got more biomass. Hades made for the group that he had just escaped and utilized his hammer fist and claws before they knew he was out. He made a point to absorb the biomass and was back in somewhat fighting condition. This was gonna be a long fight. He still didn't have enough for anything flashy, but that was okay for now. Until the Goliath got a hold of him, that is. Well, he was too busy dealing with the small fry in an attempt to gain more biomass to even pay attention. Rookie mistake. As it was pummeling him, Hades made a shield of sorts. How do I get out of this? The answer is that you don't, son. Just to be clear, that was me. That was not Heller. Isiah's life flashes before his eyes. Within seconds, thoughts of his family and Katsuki came forth. Said thoughts brought tears to his eyes. Come on, Hades. You got this! That's when he utilizes a trick he's seen Artemis do. That's right, y'all. He can split. Instead of a half split, Hades takes the L and does an 80-20 and uses the biomass as what I'm gonna call, well, the goo bomb. He's concentrated his biomass on its head and focuses the blast inward. while being ravaged by various infected. After the blast, he set up a bio ball, and here comes a nice little scene. Hades focuses on the bio ball, and it does its thing. That's right, he just absorbed a Goliath. Time for a new form. Get off of me! A fiery explosion came from beneath the pile. Said pile was incinerated with viral fire that once again fed Isiah precious biomass. Not as much as, well, the bio ball would have, but not bad considering how many he burned. Now come on now, where do you think Artemis got that fire from? I mean, Artemis did have his specific strain practically unaltered. Now, from the ashes rises Hades in his new armored form. We're gonna stay with the biker motif since Isiah is all about that. So imagine an armored Ghost Rider. I don't mean his skull is bare or anything like that. For any who look, it's like this badass full body leather suit with a helmet. The flames surrounding him are black and red, and it is phenomenal. Hades made a blade, and said blade is now flaming as well. He doubles down with a whip tendril on his other arm and wrought havoc. He's now the most threatening thing in the room. As for armor scaling, here you go. Hellhound has light armor, Poseidon has heavy armor, and Hades possesses medium armor. He had this awesome biker look, but no bike. He'd have to fix that. Maybe right now. One of the remaining juggernauts charges for Hades and just stabs him with the tendril. Yeah, no. You're gonna be my bitch now. Hades corrupted the infected with his contagion and changed the monstrosity to fit him. Every biker needs a bike. Now he had one. Hades had warped the once juggernaut into a biometal motorcycle. Everything save the seat and handles were surrounded by jagged blades now, and the wheels were where wheels would be, there's flame. Now, I know this may be a bit of a stretch, but have you seen the blades and claws? And even the blades on the whips? Let's just let this be for the sake of badassery. Oh, the hell yes. Yes, I quoted Hellsing Ultimate Abridged. Ever play DMC5? Let's go with that bike for a placeholder, but make it more hellish and fiery. Hades went ham and just rode through the remaining enemies. The only other problem was the other juggernaut, to which he dispensed of by popping a wheelie and burning it. With the occupants dealt with, all he had to do was find the bomb. Hades rode like a madman, knowing that time was of the essence. He had to make it to the bomb. He made it to the bomb just in time to see it prime. He was lucky that he had consumed the biomass of someone who knew his stuff. He didn't feel bad for his victim. I mean, the dude was a serial bomber and was on death row anyway. But I digress. Guys, I don't have time to disarm this thing, Hades said over the hive mind. Hades, you feel different. James let out. I'm sorry, not even James. Let's stick with code names here. Poseidon let out over the hive mind. The sun explains everything in a matter of seconds, save the bike, and he realized what he had to do. Hades drove back a bit and then went full throttle and jumped off the bike, giving it the order to devour the bomb. Remember, this bike used to be a juggernaut. With that, there was a loud boom. Hades still got hit by the blast, but with the sacrifice of the bike was to absorb the virus, and that worked swimmingly. Let's remember, Bakugo, explosive resistance, and then the armor, and well, he's an evolved, so, but that was a pretty big bomb. It could have, well, wrecked his day. But back to the story. He was saddened that his bike was still standing. How? Let's go, boss. I'm sure the others are worried. Hades was confused. Then he remembered that 1. He took control of the Juggernaut by infecting it with his strain, and 2, it just absorbed a lot of Blacklight and even some biomass. It wasn't too far of a jump for him to assume that the sentience came from the combination of those 2 things. All he had to do now was to name the bike. The talking bike. Cerberus is your name. I like it. The bike that was now deemed Cerberus changed its form to fit, well, its new moniker. The front of the bike was this awesome hellhounding looking head. Once again, we're gonna go with, well, yeah, hellish stuff, but you get the point. And the other 2 heads? The handlebars. But yeah, they get back, he hops back on and they ride off to the rendezvous point. But, however, they did not arrive first. They arrived last. Artemis was the first to arrive at the rendezvous point, followed by James. They were just glad that Isiah made it out in one piece. Now I'll say it here again, they don't know about the bike. So this is going to be fun. A motorcycle engine could be heard from a distance. What the? Both Artemis and James saying out loud in confusion. Well, I guess it wouldn't be Artemis saying it out loud since she can't talk out loud, but you get the point. Until our boy shows up and hops off of Cerberus. Pretty lit, ain't it? James knew that his boy had always wanted a motorcycle, and for some reason, Inko didn't want him to have one. Well, looks like she just doesn't have much choice now. James would get on, and Cerberus burned him. Ask the boss before you try to hop on. With that, James knew what his son had done. His strain was an odd one. Deku snapped his fingers, and Cerberus slinked back into him. You know you're gonna have to tell your mom about that, right? Isiah had just gotten out of one battle, and now he had another one to deal with. Truth be told, he'd rather deal with the infected rather than have to deal with Inko when she finds out about Cerberus. Oh dear.